section 3.3 application of quadratic functions. The example we have is a vendor can sell 275 souvenirs per day at a price of $2 each. The cost to the vendor is $1.50 per souvenir. Each 10-cent price increase decreases the sales by 25 items per day. What price should be charged to maximize the profit? So this equation is a little bit harder because we have a couple of different things that we have to go through when solving. The first thing I like to do is just think about the entire equation and what we are trying to do. So we're trying to figure out the profit per day and the price that we want to make each souvenir to get the maximum profit per day. So I always like to first think in general what this question is asking me and what it means. So in order to figure out the profit per day, I have to think about how to get that. And in order to get that, you would take the number of items sold and multiply it by the price of the item. And of course, then that would tell you how much profit you're making. So there's two different parts to this equation that we have to figure out. We need to figure out what the price of the item is going to be and figure out the number of items sold. And it's a little bit tricky because it doesn't exactly give those in the equation. So the first thing, before I do that, I'm going to label or define my variables. So let x equal. So x is going to stand for the number of 10-cent price increases. So the number of price increases. And now I can come up with my two equations. So one's going to be for what the price of the item is going to be. If you look back to the problem, it says that a vendor can sell 275 souvenirs per day at $2, a price of $2 each. The cost to the vendor is $1.50 per each souvenir. So that's the second part that I need to look at. And then it says each 10-cent price increase decreases sales by 25 per day. What price should be charged to maximize profit? So the price of the souvenir, then, if I know 275 souvenirs, you are selling it at $2 each, and the cost to actually make the item is $1.50, then you're making a 50-cent profit. And then for this, it says each 10-cent price increase, so 0.10 times the number of price increases that you have, is going to give you the price of each of the souvenirs that you have, the total. Then you need to come up with an equation to figure out the number of items that are being sold. So the number of items sold is going to be by looking at, it says a vendor can sell 275 souvenirs per day. And then at the next sentence, it says, or this last sentence almost, it says each 10-cent price increase decreases the sales by 25 per day. So for this one, we have 275 minus 25 times x. Now that I have my two different equations, I can take each of these equations, and if I multiply them together, that's going to be the profit per day that you are making, and I'm going to call that P of X. Now, if I take this, I want to figure out the maximum price that I'm going to do to get my maximum profit. So in order to do that, of course, since we're working, if I were to multiply this out, and the polynomial would be a quadratic equation because we're working with quadratic equations, I'm going to go to my calculator and plug it into my y equals. I could multiply it out and then do negative b over 2a, but sometimes just plugging in your calculator is easier. So if I plug this into my y equals, and then if I hit zoom 6, I know it's not going to be a very good window to look at, so I would have to change it. So I'm going to change my x maximum maybe to 20 and my y maximum to maybe 300, just to get an idea. And when I do that, now I can find my maximum, which is going to be right here. So if I hit second trace number 4, I can do the left arrow, enter for the left bound, and then something to the right of the maximum point would be here, enter. And now when I do that, notice I get 3.0000, so 3 comma 160 would be my maximum. So I'm going to write that this is going to be the vertex 3 comma 160. So now we have to interpret this and answer the question. So what does that 3 mean? The 3 is the number of price increases that we have in order to get our maximum profit per day, which would be $160. So I'm going to write that in sentence form. So the maximum profit of $160 per day occurs for 3 price increases. Now, we still haven't answered the question because the question again said what price should be charged to maximize the profit. So if I know if it's 3 price increases, we'll go back up to this equation right here. If I plug in 3 for X, that's going to give me my price that I should charge at. So the price should be, in this case, we're doing $2 because that's what we sold it at beginning. So $2. So if we start at $2, it would be 2 plus our 10-cent increase occurs 3 times. So that would be end up being $2.30. And this is the price that per souvenir that we should charge in order to get that maximum profit. So this was what we are looking for.